As this committee has highlighted, the Chinese Communist Party has developed and implemented the most sophisticated censorship and surveillance apparatus in the world. What has happened in the last few years, however, is not a simple evolution of the party's tools and techniques. Rather, it is a whole new threat to internet freedom, not only in China, but beyond. Not only is the Communist Party gathering enormous amounts of data on the Chinese people, at the same time, it is actively eliminating Chinese language portions of the global internet. Chinese language websites now account for just 1.3% of the global total. As a result, the Communist Party now knows more about its people than ever before, but the Chinese people know less about the outside world and indeed even their own domestic realities. This information asymmetry is no accident. The Communist Party's strict information controls do tremendous harm to the people of China, but I want to focus my remarks here today on the effects on Americans. Increasingly, the Great Firewall is not only an obstacle for the Chinese people, but also a roadblock for U.S.-China relations. U.S. Ambassador to China Nick Burns recently warned that Chinese leaders, quote, say they're in favor of reconnecting our two populations, but they're taking dramatic steps to make it impossible. He cited the Chinese government's efforts to, again, quote, denigrate America, to tell a distorted story about American society, American history, American policy, end quote. In short, efforts to stabilize the U.S.-China relationship are now bedeviled by the Communist Party's censorship and disinformation apparatus. Moreover, if the Chinese economy continues to stumble as a result of the Communist Party's poor management, Beijing may feel that it has to rely more on nationalism to bolster domestic support. If this occurs, the Communist Party might lean even more heavily into blaming the United States for China's own woes. Setting the record straight will be critical to guard against this strategy. Moreover, techno-authoritarian tools developed by Beijing will not stay in China. Over the last decade, the Chinese government has exported censorship and surveillance technologies to over 80 countries worldwide. These tools and techniques will be adopted by autocrats from Russia to Iran to Venezuela and beyond. And through multiple international technical and standard-setting bodies, the Chinese government is attempting to reconfigure foundational elements of the internet. In short, the Communist Party's information controls not only harm the Chinese people, but also obstruct their ties with American counterparts and threaten to proliferate around the world. Now is the time for us as a nation to rise to meet this challenge. I want to quickly outline 4 recommendations with which we could do so. First, the United States needs an ambitious moonshot project on internet freedom. One estimate suggests that the Communist Party spends on the order of $10 billion per year to develop and refine its system of surveillance and control. U.S. internet freedom efforts receive much less than 1% of these resources. We must do more. The time to act is now, before these systems proliferate globally. Second, we should insist that American companies do more to counter information controls. Some major U.S. companies restrict access to virtual private networks and other apps in China while allowing the Communist Party to replace these networks with ones that the party can covertly monitor. Companies must disclose major cybersecurity incidents. They should have to do the same when they enable foreign censorship and surveillance. Third, the United States should insulate itself against censorship and surveillance here at home. The Communist Party has long barred most American media companies from operating effectively in China, yet the United States has few reciprocal protections. U.S. media companies themselves should be required to disclose when they disseminate information or accept payments provided by entities affiliated with designated foreign adversaries. Fourth, the Congress should conduct additional and should support additional research on Chinese censorship and surveillance. We need a deeper understanding of the tools and techniques that the Communist Party is using if we are to understand the evolving nature of the threat that it poses. Detailing the Communist Party's information control strategy is fundamental to building an effective U.S. government response. The information competition with China is not a minor aspect of the relationship, but rather a central pillar. Xi Jinping often references Mao Zedong's exhortation to, quote, seek truth from facts. But increasingly, the Communist Party has become focused on reconstructing facts to hide the truth.